how long do you get for your monologue this year?
I am going to do a full 90 minutes this year. That's why we're starting an hour early this year, because I'm going to go really, really long. It's going to be like a Netflix special. I don't know, about 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
And then you'll come back and do things all during the course of that 3.5 hours.
Yes, you've seen the show, George. You know how it works.
I do. I also think that if I'm hosting the show and the producer
You are hosting the show.
Oh, God, no.
This is why I've asked you to come here. I have news for you. I am busy on Sunday, and I would listen, the jokes are written. I think you'd be fine.
I know how to read a teleprompter.
You can read the teleprompter. You'll be perfectly fine.
Okay, is Aunt Chippy involved?
She is not involved, no.
Oh, I don't
It's
know
like
if I
a
can
plus
do
or a minus
I love
for
my
you.
Aunt Chippy.
Okay, Guillermo will be there.
Okay,
maybe.
that's
Okay,
good.
all right. Okay,
All right.
good. It's done. Deal. So how are you preparing for the Oscars? Are you excited this is your 4th time?
I
Can
don't
you
ask
give us
those
any
questions.
surprises? I do, though. I'm asking you.
How do
You're-
I prepare for the Oscars?
Yes!
I try to sleep, Jimmy, and it's really hard because I stay up late at night. For instance, the other night at about 3 in the morning, I decided it was a good time to go on IMDb in bed to discover that there are 2 Barbara Oppenheimers.
There are 2 Barbara Oppenheimers.
So,
I didn't even know there was 1 Barbara Oppenheimer. Is that the character's name, Barbara?
no, that's a real person that works in show business.
Okay, well, you know, I mean, I would imagine she's excited to see her last name everywhere.
I guess so.
I mean, you could see, like, Kimmel wins 11 Oscars. I would be pretty excited, even if I had nothing to do with it.
Did watching any of the movies this year in all the various categories depress you?
You know what? In those situations where there are touchy subjects, instead of the subjects, I will, like, focus on the actor or the director, the celebrities involved. So there's a way to include everybody without attempting to make a joke about something that is not going to get a laugh.
Have you figured out why celebrities want to be part of your world? For instance, that great Oscar promo with the Barbie cast.
Well, I almost looked at that as just asking them to be a part of their world, because that was their world, the Barbie world. But that was great. I mean, Kate McKinnon was just unbelievably funny from beginning to the end of that shoot. And then America Ferrera came in, and she was, you know, I mean, the way she delivered that speech, it was, for me, I felt like she was speaking for me about the challenges of being an Oscar host. And then Ryan Gosling shows up and just killed it at the end.
When it comes to Barbie, will we see, say, Barbie Streisand at the Oscars?
Oh, Barbie Streisand, that's good. This is why you need to be hosting this thing. Dang it, I missed it. So funny, one of my writers for his birthday, I bought him the Barbara Streisand doll just like a couple of months
There's
ago.
a Barbara Streisand doll?
There is, and it's very expensive, by the way, on eBay. It's like a collector's item, and I never thought about that. Oh.
My birthday is on Christmas.
Okay.
Look, you love movies, and I love that you love movies. So the producers might come to you and say, like Molly, is there anyone you want on the show this year as a presenter? Who in movie history would you really love to see take that stage just because you love them?
Sometimes it's the pairings that are really great. You know, sometimes it's like, it is exciting to see the people who were in The Godfather together, you know, and these movies that really make an impression on you and make an impression on a lot of people, obviously. So, yeah, there are some, and we will see some of those people on this Oscar broadcast, and we will see some of those scenarios that I just conjured up.
Okay, I like that. Will the hints be in the presenters that are already published or not?
There will be some surprises. We always like to keep, a few things in our pocket. So, I mean, it's on one hand, you want people to know who's going to be there so that they make sure to watch. But on the other hand, you got to surprise people too.
Okay, that's the surprise SOT, we call it.
Yes.
I didn't even have to ask the question. Really. All right, so we talked before in years past about how we were both kids, like lying on the floor.
I think
with
everyone was a
pillow,
kid at one point. I mean,
watching-
let's be honest, George. It's not just you and me.
watching the Oscars as kids, and we loved it.
Yeah.
Was there a time where suddenly Jimmy was too cool to watch the Oscars?
Maybe there was. Maybe in my kind of older teenage years, I wasn't paying attention. But it probably wasn't because I was too cool. It was probably just I didn't want to be in the room with my parents. You know, we only had one TV at that time.
Are there any jokes that you're committed to that you're worried about?
Yeah, well, no, not that worried. Not so worried that I'd rule them out. There are definitely some jokes that I've excised from my script because I worry about them.
All right. I want to hear it, but I know you're not going to tell me.
I'll tell you after.
Okay. Well, when it comes to hosting the Oscars, if it wasn't for Molly.
This Molly, you mean my wife, Molly? Or you mean the drug, the party drug? If it wasn't for Molly, I wouldn't be doing it for sure. I would not be, it just makes it a whole different deal knowing you have somebody who doesn't even have to ask you what your opinion is. She knows what it is. And even if it isn't my opinion, she will inform me that it is. So it's just like a shortcut and a bodyguard and also like a great comedy partner all in one.
Cool. I liked it. I saw her at the Oscar nomination morning, and I felt like she was kind of taking notes. They said she was right near me. They gave me a 5-second cue to get to the announcement, and then they said 40 seconds. So all of a sudden, out of my mouth was, Molly McNearney is here.
Yeah.
So I apologize if she's in the room.
We're hoping to get the cues right for the show.
Last question. Look, is there breakfast, is there lunch, is there dinner conversation at home over the last several months where you're saying it'll all be over in whatever because it really takes a lot of your life?
I try not to think of it that way because I know that when I'm old and I'm already gray, but I will think back on this stuff. So I try to stay in the moment and not just like look forward to the Monday after the show, because I do know that these are memorable moments and that I should take them in and appreciate them as they happen. And then especially the show itself. I mean, you do a lot of work leading up to the show, and you have these jokes that hopefully you're very proud of, and you have to enjoy delivering them. And I know that sounds very obvious, but it's not so obvious. At least it wasn't obvious to me until relatively recently in my life.
Well, I love you hosting the show. As I leave here, will I get an appearance at my post show?
You know I always show up. I'm like a ghost, like so you're not expecting it and suddenly there I am.
Oh, hi, Jimmy.
Oh, did you see me back there?
I love seeing you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jordan.
Want more entertainment news? Follow On the Red Carpet on social and subscribe on YouTube.